Hey guys, welcome back. I missed you. Hope you're doing well. And what makes you different from the rest of your friends? Like, it's so strange how we can be so odd, so unique, so vastly varied between who we are and everybody else who we have in our lives. And, I just kind of wonder, what makes you feel like you are different than basically everybody else you have going on in your life? Me, personally, it's kind of a mixed bag because I feel like it's kind of a trick question, right? What makes you different than everybody else, especially amongst your friends? And you might think to yourself, like, maybe it's a unique talent that you have, or maybe it's something like, a particular thing that you're very particular with. But the crazy thing is, the more we think that we're different, the more we realize we are exactly the same. The easiest way to look at it is like, you just kind of look at your lived experiences. It's so easy sometimes to just be upset with somebody and say, like, well, how can you possibly know what I'm going through? And the reality we end up finding out is that, like, well, sometimes people go through the exact same things as we have, except in their own way. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. But that's kind of where I'm asking, today. Like what makes you feel like you're so much different than everybody else that might be going on in your life? Like, let me know. Me personally, I used to think that what made me so different than everybody else was it was just kind of like trauma, but like not the trauma that you might be expecting like a lot of people to say, with like, oh yeah, I had a really rough childhood growing up. And for me, it was like, I thought it was like the opposite. I thought I had a pretty basic childhood. Like, I wasn't really worried about anything. Like, I was a bit of a recluse in my own head, but like, it wasn't like I felt like I had to live my life accordingly. To me, it was just like, it's just my life. It's just life. It's how it goes. And I thought that's what made me different. So when I hear people griping and complaining and being upset that life can be so difficult, life can be so hard, life can be so unfair, I didn't really know how to react to people feeling such a way because I personally never felt such a way myself. But that's kind of what made me feel like I was different, unique, different from all the rest of what was going on. And, it's kind of relaxing after the fact to discover that it was kind of like all in my head. The idea that I'm so vastly different than everybody, you know what I mean? Like, to think that it's kind of weird to think like, oh yeah, I didn't have any trauma, and it just kind of sucks now, like realizing that maybe I did have a little bit of trauma. It's not like that. It's like, it's just one of those weird things where it's just like, when you find out that, maybe life wasn't all peaches and rainbows, that, maybe it's a lot easier to like actually have like real meaningful friendships and like start to communicate and connect with people. But that's one way to look at it, right? But that's where I'm just kind of curious for you guys, like, what for you is like, what do you think was like something that was like just very different and unique about your growing up? But that's that, and here we are now. What's different now is simple, basic things. I stream Animal Crossing and create content for the game, whereas I don't think any of my friends do that. But that's all right. That's cool, because my friends, they do all sorts of unique and interesting things also. I have some friends who are in school, some friends who have jobs, some friends who do all sorts of work, and it's like not so bad because it's like they do these things and I get to, hear their stories about like what was work like for you, and they can tell me like, oh yeah, I mean, I did this, I did that, yada yada, etc., etc., and then they get to like also like watch my videos, and I feel like it's like kind of like a cool little thing where it's just like we get to like bond over these things, like, oh yeah. And then Atlas, he goes off and he makes a game or a video for his game or whatnot, and just kind of be able to touch base on those things. And as we go through the holiday season, I just kind of find that as like just interesting stuff to really consider. Might be the best way to put it. It's like, you know, like how what's let me put it this way. Why are my friends my friends? And oftentimes it comes down to not because of all the similarities that they have with me, but rather it's all the differences. Like, we have animals on our island, and do you like to have all the same animal? Nah, probably not. What we typically prefer to have is a bunch of different animals, right? Because having different animals is what makes the game just interesting, right? And that's just kind of like how it is for me with like friends too. Like, you know, if you were like to write a story, do you have all the characters be the same? Like you can have a story where everybody's like a bunch of, like, let's say they're a bunch of teammates on a team of some sort, on a sports team, and are you gonna like write them all to be jocks, or perhaps you're gonna try to create some sort of depth in them? And usually that's kind of the route you go, because having characters who are like very different is a lot more entertaining than having everybody be the exact same, because then you just kind of like wonder, like, I don't really feel like trying to get to know all these different characters if they're all the same character, you know what I mean? But that's how it can be at times, I guess. I don't know. But trying to figure out which the right button to get over here. Hopefully we find the phone within, how many spots do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 chances to find it. Ooh, little fishy. Find his phone real quick, first try. But what I was trying to get at, like talking about like characters, you want all the characters to be different. Ugh, that's gross. Same with your friends, right? You like, do you want to have a whole bunch of friends who are all the same? Typically, I feel like when you have a whole bunch of friends who are the same, it's like life kind of gets boring when you're with them, and you kind of yearn for something a little bit different, a little bit more. That's how I was back in high school. Like, I didn't really have any like set friends. Like, I had some friends who were like high friends, like high tier friends, but I didn't want to have like any best friends. And then I was also part of like multiple different friend groups too. It was kind of weird. Like, I definitely, ew, it looks even gross in my pocket too. Little sea cucumber. Ugh. But I didn't really like have any like, you know, strict loyalty to one friend group. I was able to just kind of like hang out with all sorts of people, and it kept life interesting. I hung out with some like the, you might call them like goth or the what do you call them, the emo kid. Like, let's put it this way, I got to hang out with some of the people who enjoyed an alternative way of living, more separated from traditional forms of happiness. Wordy way of putting it. But I also got to hang out with, you know, some of the people on sports teams, like some of the sportsy guys, jocks, I guess, word we use. I could have some friends with them. I had some friends who were more cultured than some other ones. I also had friends who were a lot of nerdy friends, and it was just very different way of growing up. But the weirdest thing is, I then grow up and I get to work at a gas station for a few years that was right down the street from where I had gone to high school. And basically, all these different people, we'll call them friends because, I mean, we're friendly at the very least. All these different people ended up crossing paths here. And there's a lot of people who were non-starters in their life, and you just kind of like never really got to go out and see the world. And then there are some who did get to go out and live their life. We're not going to talk about them because they didn't come through all that much, but like, there's like one girl who I thought she had it all put together. She was going to go find herself her dream dude, and everything's going to be fantastic. And then next thing you know, I see her, and she has like a bunch of kids, and she's like just back home type of thing. Like, she had left, and then she came back, and now she's trying to piece it back together. There were some guys who, like, I thought like he was like, sky's the limit. He was going to be like a sports all-star or something like that. But again, non-starter just never quite happened. I think it's pretty, you know, obvious considering where I was at the time that I was what you might consider a non-starter myself. But I'd say my situation was a little bit different. Not that I wasn't a non-starter, so I just never really expressed any interest in starting, if you know what I mean. Like it was just kind of I had the chance, and then I didn't really do anything with it. And it is what it is. It was what it was. Um, I wouldn't say that my life was ruined as a result. You know, it was just like, life can be all sorts of different, and you just kind of have to figure it out one way or another. And you know, but the cool thing about it was that we all had like a similar past, right? Like, we all went to the same school. We all had very, we didn't have the exact same memories, but we clearly had like similar memories. We had to have, we went through, we were of the same age, going through the same very crucial aspects of our life at the time, and to say that that doesn't mean anything would be kind of crazy, right? And it was pretty interesting. But the cool thing is, as adults, we all get to like look at how our stories were a little bit different. How somebody might have been more of a preppy girl, so was kind of more of a jock kind of guy, and all sorts of things like that. And to say that we all got to grow up and just be unique, interesting individuals, I'd say it's like that's the really cool part of it for me, is that we did that. We got to really experience life in a crazy way, and then life brought us back together, and the story continues from that point, going forward, where it's just like, yeah, now you're just kind of adults who get to reflect on life together. And it's just like, if I think one of the coolest things that could to ponder in retrospect is, if I could go back in time and tell the younger versions of ourselves, like me and them, one interesting thing, it'd just be like the idea that's like, don't be so hard on yourselves, but don't be so hard on each other either, because life's going to be crazy, and in the end, we're all going to be more or less in the same spot. Please be good. Please be good, Snowman. Oh, let's head my... I did it. Oh, I got it right. Oh! Oh, man, I was paranoid. Oh! Oh, my goodness. I always ruin these snowmen. Oh, I'm so happy right now. I know it's dangerous for snow folks to cry, but I don't think I can help myself. I can't praise you enough for your top-notch snow sculpting skills. Whoa, that's kind of hard to say. Top-notch snow sculpting skills. Oh, it's not so bad. I think it's only appropriate that I share a DIY with such a gifted snowcrafter. Let's see. I know. I'll show you how to make a frozen counter. I did not think that we were going to actually get him. Oh, man. That's so nice. We actually got him. We made a perfect snowman. Like, what does that say? What's this? You get Nook Miles based on how many quality snowfolks you... So yeah, legit, it was a good one. Oh my goodness, we did it. I can say I did at least once in my lifetime. It's a little bit nicer than our first try that we did during the stream. Oh man, where's he at? He's melting away over here in misery. Said, one life, one night, one more time. Hold up, let's... it's like good news, bad news. Good news, we got a Prezi. Bad news, we're going to talk to the snowman real quick before we take off. Oh my goodness. Oh, festive tree. Oh, how big is it? I think they have a small one, a large one, and an even bigger one. Oh, it's not so bad. It's a 1x1, so it's not the big one. I want the big one, but we at least have a little one. Hey buddy, how's it going? I've heard about the summer, but I'd really like to experience it firsthand. I know. Be careful what you wish for, right? It's just that I'm kind of a daredevil, and I really want to try it. Good night, sweet prince. You deserve so much better. Say farewell and adieu to this cruel, cruel world. Speaking of farewell and adieu, you guys, love you all. God bless. You're absolutely amazing. Don't forget, like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what makes you different from the rest of your friends, and I'll tell you that's what makes you absolutely amazing. And I'm so grateful to have you as a part of this experience. Until next time, I'll see you very, very soon.